Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. I'm in studio, back from Bangalore, but Anand and Shashwat are still yet to arrive. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow, and me and Keshav will have a break. Keshav is very tired after filling in these enormous shoes of Anand and Shashwat. He's been doing pillar to post. It's been tough on him. As you can see, he's aged quite a bit.
So today I have came to know about balance sheets. Sir.
Yeah, it's true.
I have to learn about
Actually,
balance sheets.
Keshav knows quite a bit about balance sheets.
Not like that, sir. Now I'm learning a bit, but
Yeah, you know a bit. So you should be proud of it.
yeah. Sir.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll run through this.
Okay.
Because our audience has been asking for some information on balance sheet. They all want to know what is a balance sheet and what is supposed to look for in a balance sheet and why is a balance sheet important. So when does a balance sheet come?
When the 4 quarters end of annual report, sir. It means an annual report.
The annual report.
End of an year.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
What is the annual report? What is the report?
It contains what the company does
Has done for the whole year.
Whole year.
Correct.
Yeah, sir.
Talks about the history of the company,
Yeah, sir.
where it is right now. Then it talks about what the future plans are.
Plans will be.
Correct. And one important section of the annual report is the balance sheet.
Okay.
And what is a balance sheet?
Sir, balance sheet is something.
Give me an example, like something which is, I can compare it to a balance sheet. If I say, what is a balance sheet? What do you say? What is a balance sheet like? I'm trying to make it easier for you.
Yeah, sir.
So that way you can give an analogy. Analogy means like something like that.
Yeah, sir. That is. I'm thinking about that, but sir, I didn't get anything, sir. But I know what is balance sheet, sir. Balance sheet is something that contains liabilities, shareholders' equity, and all. And it is a
Okay. Balance sheet is like a report card or like the ECG. You know what an ECG is?
no, sir. I know report card.
Report card.
Yeah, sir.
Correct.
Yeah, sir.
What is there in the report card?
Report card tells us about our performance.
Exactly.
Yeah, sir.
The same thing, it's like the report card for the company. Or another great example is like an ECG.
Okay.
ECG tells you the condition of the heart at that specific moment.
Okay.
So report card also tells you where your learning is at that specific time. When you do an exam, that's all it tells you.
Okay.
When you write an exam, final exam, right? All it tells you is that moment in time, what did Keshav learn and what he remembers. Same way, a balance sheet tells you at that moment of time what is the financial condition of the company. And why is the financial condition important?
So that's why we can
Correct.
see the company's growth.
Why do you want to see the company's growth?
Then only we can try to invest.
Fantastic. So as an investor, you need to know the financial dealings of the company to see if there is any possibility of growth for your investment. You're buying into the business.
Yeah, sir.
So when you're buying into the business, you need to know how the business is running, right? If they're making any money, what profits they're making. So if you know, if you should trust this business and put some of your money in it and you own some of the business. Correct?
Yeah.
So that's what the balance sheet is. So there are two aspects in a balance sheet, which you'll hear everybody talking about, which Alvin would have told you lots about. One is called the asset. The other is the liability.
Liability.
What is an asset?
Asset is something we like land.
Tell me an asset which you have.
I have
Your favorite asset which you keep flipping all the time, man.
hair.
Correct.
Okay.
Something you own.
Okay.
Something you own is
Asset.
an asset.
Okay.
What is liability?
Liability is something that I owe.
Correct. What you owe,
Is liability.
liability. What you own,
Is asset.
correct. Very simple.
Done, sir.
Correct. So at the beginning of the month when you get your salary, that is all your asset.
Yeah, sir.
All the bills you go pay, hotel bills, after that you have to go settle. All the
Liability.
accounts
Liability.
become liabilities.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Simple as that.
Huh.
So assets are considered usually positive. Good things.
Okay,
If
sir.
you have assets, it's a good thing. Liabilities is always considered to be a negative thing, a bad thing.
Bad thing. Okay.
Okay, this is just the way people look at it. Right? So, what are the types of liabilities you can have?
So many things, sir.
As a person, the same as you in company are the same. So, how can you create liability for yourself?
By taking loans.
There, done. Simple. Don't complicate it.
Okay, sir.
Don't complicate the answer.
Okay, sir.
All answers are simple. So, all the things you take as a loan are liability. So, in a company, if you look at it, it is the loans the company has, the money the company has to pay are all liabilities. All the money the company has and all the money it's going to get are assets. Simple as that, right?
Okay, sir.
So when you see in a balance sheet asset liability, now you know what are considered assets, what are considered liabilities. Anything leaving the company, money that leaves the company,
liability,
or all liabilities. All the things which are bringing money into the company
assets.
are assets. Okay?
Okay.
And the most important thing you should remember in the balance sheet is it is only for that given time. Right? So when you say this is the asset of the company, they say in the balance sheet this is the asset, it is all that money they've accumulated from the beginning of the company to that date, to that point of time.
Okay, sir.
Correct? So you should remember that. And there are some other words which keep coming in the balance sheet. Something known as share capital. What is share capital?
The price of the share or the company's capital.
We've discussed this, you've forgotten. It is the amount of money you put into case of medical shop. You've decided to start case of medical shop.
Okay.
Remember? Case of medical store.
Yes.
So the amount of money you put initially into the company to medical shop to start the shop is called share capital.
Sure. Oh, okay.
All the money which you put inside,
okay,
which will be divided into shares.
Okay.
Capital is money. Share is units.
Okay.
So you put 100 rupees, then you say each share is 1 rupee. So you'll have 100 shares.
Okay.
So that seed money which is put inside to start the business
share capital.
is called share.
Okay.
Then you have something in the balance sheet called reserves and surplus. You will see it. What is the reserves and surplus?
Surplus means the
reserves and surplus. Surplus. So what is surplus?
Spendings.
Surplus means what is extra, what is more, right?
Okay.
So money which is you've earned doing business, but you've kept it aside for some future use.
Okay.
That's reserves.
Okay.
It's like you take some of your salary and you keep it separate for some future date you need to spend it on.
Okay.
Some future phone you plan to buy. Some future girlfriend you want to take out for dinner.
Okay.
You keep that money aside, that is your reserves and surplus.
Okay, sir.
Right? So it's like liquid cash which you're keeping, which is there. Okay? Then in liabilities, you have two kinds of liabilities. You have something known as a non-current liabilities. Then you have current liabilities. What is the difference between these two?
So current liability means now, like that. Currently,
you're on the right track.
Yes, sir.
Current liabilities are what the company
now
has to pay within 1 year.
That have a tenure.
No, not tenure. This year, 1 year time period, they have to pay it.
Okay.
Non-current is that are paid after that 1 year period.
Okay.
Understood?
Okay. Current is within
1 year.
Within 1 year.
Non-current is
after 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So an example of current liability would be something known as working capital loan. Working capital loan is the money you borrow to run the business every day. To pay the salaries, to pay the electricity bill. So working capital, what keeps your business running? If you borrow money to do that, the money which you're paying interest for that is called current liabilities.
Okay, sir.
Because you have to pay it within that year. You understood?
Okay, sir.
So these are current and non-current.
Okay.
Now the same way like how you have current and non-current liabilities, in assets also you have non-current and current assets. So what is a current asset and non-current? Now you know liability,
yeah,
right?
Sir.
So we use the same logic in this side.
Current assets means the asset we own in 1 year.
Which is going to give you money. Remember I said whatever gives you money is an asset. So whatever that gives you money within this year,
sir, it's current
asset.
Yeah, sir.
If it's going to give you money after 1 year,
1 year, it will be a non-current asset. Okay.
And very
understood, sir. Very easy way.
Very understood. These are all the things.
Okay, sir.
And assets are all positives. Liabilities are all negatives.
Okay, sir.
So when you see the balance sheet, these are the very basic principles of a
balance sheet. Okay, sir.
Now there are some important ratios in the balance sheet. Ratios are nothing but something on top, something on bottom. When you divide one on top of the other, you get a number.
Okay, sir.
Right? You have a numerator, which is what's on top. Denominator is what is on the bottom. So you divide one number by another number, it gives you a
value.
That value is a ratio.
Okay.
So there are some important ratios which you can look. Something known as a leverage ratio. What is leverage ratio? It's debt to equity. Leverage ratio. Have you heard of it?
Leverage means debt, sir. The thing
ratio.
You have to give.
Debt to equity. It's also known as debt to equity. Do you know what that is?
Debt by earnings.
There's two ways you run a company.
Okay.
One is you put money to start the business. That is known as equity.
Okay.
To run Keshav medical store, you put some of your own money inside. 100 rupees you put. But you realize that is not enough money to run the business.
Then we
You
have to
need
take a
more
loan.
money to buy the shop and everything. So you go borrow money to fund the business. That is debt.
Okay.
Right? That is borrowed money to run the business. And equity is the money you have put.
Okay.
So that debt divided by the equity, that ratio.
The given value is the debt ratio.
Yes. So usually they'll say debt ratio is 2:1. That means 2 rupees borrowed, 1 rupee
equity.
equity which you put in. So they say 2:1 is, some people consider as a good ratio. Why is it considered a good ratio? Because now we said debt is bad. But here I'm telling you 2:1. That means 2 rupees you're borrowing, 1 rupee you're putting yourself. But I'm saying that is a good ratio. But why would I say that when I say debt is bad?
So because it is not too much see.
No. That's what. There is a technical reason for this. Because the debt which is borrowed, right, it carries a lower cost than equity. The money which you're putting in, the company owes you.
Yes.
Correct? The money which you borrowed and you put in, it owes it to the lender. So it's paying an interest. But that is tax deductible. So the cost of it is lower. Because you can deduct it in your tax.
Okay. The tax that we have to pay when we open
let's
a shop.
say,
Okay.
Let me explain it very simply. I am Keshav medical store.
Okay.
You have put 1 rupee given it to me to start Keshav medical store. And Karthi is the bank. He's given me
2 rupees.
Suddenly he woke up because he's fiddling with his phone, looking at his girlfriends. Okay, 2 rupees he's given me. Okay, you have given me 1 rupee to start business. So when I start making money, I have to give you back your money, right? Just for take of argument, I'm saying.
Okay, sir.
Right? Let's not complicate the example. So I have to give you back. So the 1 rupee which I'm paying you back, right? I have to pay him, he's a bank lender. I have to pay him interest.
Yes.
But the interest I'm paying him, I can deduct it from my tax. But the interest I'm paying you, I cannot deduct. So it lowers my tax. My overall picture, if you see, it lowers the tax.
Okay.
So for that reason, they say it is good. But always, like Anand says, zero debt is better. Companies with zero debt is always
better to
best.
invest. Okay.
Okay. There's another ratio which they talk about. It's called return on capital employed. ROCE. What is that? Return on capital employed. What is return?
Return is something that we get.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
So earnings.
By doing the business, we
earnings. Okay. Earnings before tax and interest is called EBIT. Right. Earnings before interest and tax.
Okay.
That is your returns.
Okay, sir.
That's the money you're earning from your business. Capital employed is what? It's nothing but the money you've invested.
Okay.
That is the equity which you put in and the borrowed equity you put in together, that makes the capital. So if you take that earnings divided by all the money you've spent to do that business times 100 is a percentage. Okay. You have to multiply that, your earnings, what you're earning. So let's say you're earning 5 rupees and you have spent 100 rupees capital.
Divided by?
So 5 divided by 100 times 100. That is 5%. Understood?
Okay, sir. Understood, sir.
You're with me, right? Have I lost you or are you with me?
No, sir. I'm with you, sir.
Okay.
I understood,
You got know how I got 5%.
Yeah,
right?
sir.
You're making 5 rupees earnings. 100 rupees you spent to make that 5 rupees.
Divided by
100. 5 divided by 100, which is 0.05 into 100 with the percentage is 5%.
5%. Okay.
Correct?
Correct, sir.
That is your
ROCE.
ROCE. Higher the ROCE, the better.
Okay.
That means you're earning more for the money you're spending.
The return is more.
Yeah. So the return for every rupee you're spending as capital, you're getting more money back.
Okay, sir.
Understood?
Understood, sir.
You with me?
Yeah, sir.
So far, so good?
Yeah, sir.
Chalo. Then you have something known as liquidity ratio. What is that?
So liquidity means the cash we have in a liquid state.
It's a current asset divided by current liabilities.
Okay.
What you have
Current.
and what you have owe, what you own and what you owe.
Divided by.
Divided. That means your salary and all the EMIs which you're paying. Correct?
Okay, sir.
The one divided by the other is a ratio. It's called the liquidity ratio.
Okay, sir.
Right? Higher the liquidity ratio, the better. That means you have got more assets than liabilities.
Liabilities.
If that ratio is low, That means you got more loans.
more liabilities.
Yeah.
Than the
So
assets.
let's say salary is 100 rupees and you're paying 50 rupees as EMIs.
It's good.
It's good. That means your ratio is 2.
2.
But let's say your salary is 100 rupees and you're paying 200 rupees EMI. That means it's 0.5. That means you're losing money.
It's bad.
You understood?
Sir. Understood, sir.
So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. Other than this, you have some other stuff in balance sheets, which comes under footnotes. One important footnote is known as contingent liabilities. Contingent liabilities.
Contingent liabilities. Okay.
What is that?
So now only I'm hearing the word contingent.
What is contingent? Do you know what contingent means? Contingent means on a certain reason.
Okay.
Contingent to doing something. That means for that reason, on that reason, for that case. If you meet certain requirements, contingent is called. Okay, when you meet certain requirements, contingent on that happening.
Okay.
Means these things all fall into place, that will happen. Right?
Okay, sir.
Contingent means that. Contingent to you getting up at 8 o'clock, you'll be in office at 9 o'clock. That means if you only get up at 8 o'clock, you'll be in office at 9 o'clock.
Then only you will be at office.
So when you say contingent liabilities, that means it is something the company has to pay if certain things come into being. If certain things happen, the company has to pay that money.
Okay.
And most of the times, that is a court case. If the company loses that court case, it will have to pay that much.
Okay.
So it should always see. If there is a lot of contingent liabilities, that means there are lots of
court cases is happening there.
Usually. Or there are some other issues. You should study it a little deeper. Usually you should not have contingent liabilities. So contingent liabilities means there is some problem is there.
Okay.
Okay?
Understood, sir.
So this is all the basic
things we have to see in the
balance sheet.
Okay, sir.
Right? So now you know what assets and liabilities are.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, assets are good, liabilities are bad. Debt is bad. Okay.
Equity is good.
Yeah, equity is good. So you know what leverage ratio is, which is debt to equity. You know what return ratio is, which is ROCE.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you know liquid ratios.
Yes, sir.
And contingency liabilities. So with all this, you can now start analyzing balance sheet.
Okay, sir. We will do.
So now, based on this basic what you've learned, this is just the basic. They're not really diving in deep down.
Okay.
Okay, this is just the basic. Okay, let's pull out one balance sheet and look at it.
Okay, sir.
Next video.
Okay, sir.
You pick the balance sheet.
Okay, sir.
And maybe we'll get Albin to join us. Hopefully, that video, Albin will be able to help
explain, help
both of us understand what they're saying. Because as accountants, they like to make the terms more and more complicated. So he'll break it down and say, is it really an asset or is it really a liability? Because sometimes an asset can become a liability can become an asset by just switching it. And you'll see some accounting wizardry happening and be like, how, sir? How can this become an asset? Now you're saying this is a liability. How can suddenly owing be an asset, sir? Then Albin will explain how owing some money can be written off as an asset.
Okay, sir.
And why? That's why even with all this, reading the balance sheet, it's very hard to really know what is happening in the company. That's why Anand says you should put a lot of weightage on who's running the company, who are the owners. Because in accounting, you can do a lot of jugglery and balance sheets can be made to look very beautiful. It's like doing your famous weight loss for wedding. I must find good girl to marry me, sir. Let me lose some weight. As soon as wedding is over, 1 year later, case is back to himself. You've seen many stories like that.
Yeah, sir.
Correct?
So next week we will do the analyzation, sir.
Correct. We'll bring a balance sheet and keep with Albin and discuss that.
Yes.
Anyway, I hope you found this video informative and interesting. You guys have been asking for us for quite some time to do a video on balance sheets. So we've done a very basic primer on balance sheets, the different parts of a balance sheet, what you should look at in a balance sheet, the important ratios in a balance sheet. So please do put in the comments down below what you guys thought of this video and what more you'd like us to explore with balance sheets and annual reports. Thank you for watching the video today. Please do subscribe and turn on the bell notification icon. So every time we come out with a new video, you guys will be notified. We'd like to thank you again for joining us today on Be Rich.
I am in Tokyo on work on the 5th of August 2023. I have a lot of following in Japan, Tokyo. Those who want to meet me in Tokyo on 5th August, kindly drop me an email on the address given below or contact us on WhatsApp there. My team would get in touch with you and facilitate the meeting. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.